Mr. Williams, what was your favorite part about making the thing?
The thing? What are you referring to?
So I didn't want to just say...
The monster? Or
right.
Oh, the monster. You know, actually, I did not personally create the monster. That was done by legendary comic artist Richard Corbin. He did a lot of the work in the movie Heavy Metal, and happens to be 3 hours from me in Kansas City. And he and I worked on a lot of commercial work for him. I began doing this. So he did all my dead bodies and scary horror elements. I've got to show the dead Joel before we go on, because that'll shock you. You'll never be the same after you see that. And then the monster, and he actually animated the monster for me. Good question. That's almost 2 t-shirts, but no.
As looking through this as you were working with it, it appears to be on a computer platform. It's a little more technical question. What type of system requirements are you looking at for this type of thing?
That's a good question. Really, you don't have to have a hot rod or anything, but it has to be a fairly current computer. It doesn't have to be super powerful. If it runs a QuickTime, plays a movie pretty well, it's going to play it great. And
so it's mostly pre-rendered?
Everything is pre-rendered.
Okay.
Yes, yes, everything's pre-rendered, so you don't have to worry about that. You'll just load it once, and you don't play off discs or anything like that. You back there.
I've got a friend who's going to ask me, what programs did you use to edit or compile this?
I use 3D Studio Max for all my 3D modeling and some of the character stuff. Richard uses the same software I do. And then I would take all the layers and stuff and do that in Adobe After Effects. We use Final Cut generally, and Acid and Pro Tools to do all the audio stuff. You, right there.
When you first came up with the idea for this, did you have an initial budget that you set out for? And if you did, with the extended time, what did the budget grow to on this?
Should I answer that? Well, not paying myself anything for 10 years. It wasn't like a movie where I had to go to somebody and say, I need this amount of money, so here's the budget you have. I spent about $400,000 on it. But that's a minuscule budget, you know, for a film. Even for a game. Mark was with Activision. You tell me, what's an average video game? Spider-Man, Web of Shadows, Shrek the Third, what those cost?
$13 million.
13 million?
Yeah.
Holy hell. I need to just go get a job there. But it's, you know, when I say that, I don't want to scare anybody here, because one of the big points I want to make sitting up here is I'm you guys. You know, I'm just like you. You don't have to spend $400,000, as you know, if you look at YouTube for 5 minutes. But you got to do stuff and find a way to do it with no budget, and find a way around getting it up there, because that's hard. That's the hard part. That's what I've been working on for 2 years with Mark, and I've had help from Trace and other people kind of helping kind of get the word out and get some interest in somebody getting an international release. And that was very hard to do from Nixon, Missouri.
What are some of your major video game influences? Because it kind of reminds me of these classic Sierra games, these adventure games like Phantasmagoria or Gabriel Knight that came out back in the late 90s.
I don't play games. I never have played games. A client of mine who used to travel all over the place in a Learjet had a laptop. This is back in 1998 or so when Riven just came out. And so I skipped Myst, and he loaned me Riven, and I checked it out. And I already had storyboards and ideas for this as a film or a short film. And I watched that, and I'd also produced this really disgusting thing for a pharmaceutical company called the Spelunger. It was this little guy who looked like Indiana Jones, and he went down in your lungs. I'd just done that. When I saw Riven, I just saw, wow, I could maybe take all these clips and tie them together and make it like, you know, you don't just watch the movie in a linear fashion. You got all these forks in the plot. You can do anything you want.
Now the interactive media is becoming like one of the most important parts of design and any kind of entertainment. Did you anticipate anything like that, or was it just like an idea that you were thinking about doing anyways? Because I think that was one thing that would actually make it so a very successful movie/video game. Is
Yeah.
the interactive part? Did you anticipate that?
Well, you know, there have been things that have come out in the past that they called interactive movies,
Yeah.
and I've seen a few of them, and it just wasn't my idea of what you'd call that. They really leaned way to the video game side, and there's nothing wrong with that. That wasn't at all my vision. I was wanting it really to be split right down the middle, to where you felt like you were interactive, you're playing and stuff, but still you had cinematics going on. And like when you see things, I wanted to break out of first person and see different camera angles and see things that you probably couldn't possibly see, you know, unless it was a movie. You wouldn't see it if you were just standing in the room to kind of reveal the story in a slightly, kind of cheating a little bit. You, sir.
I know this is kind of preemptive, but now that this movie is done, any plans for a sequel?
Oh, God. You ever seen Scanners? This is going to have to make some money to do that, but we've thought about it. Actually, we've got some other things with this that have legs that we might do, and I don't know yet. That really does make my head almost explode just thinking about it. Thank you for asking. I'm sorry, he's behind the speaker. Yes, sir.
So, since the project took so long to do, I bet there was a lot of changes, and I'm really curious, how does the finished product line up with your original view of what it was going to be?
It came out a lot better than I thought it would, to be honest. We had, when I first started, the ability to do these panos like you can do didn't exist, you know, in the early 2000s. So that wasn't even a part of the paradigm, and that's kind of a big part of how it worked out. But
why don't you show one of those right now?
okay.
Look it back up, and you can just the fact that
Yeah.
anywhere you go, anywhere you stop, you can completely look everywhere at all times.
And it's all, you know, photorealistic. And in some shots, there are people. There's one scene with Trace standing in a room that you pan around, he's standing there, you know. So we had to work on that to make that operate. And technology, this is not really what I would call a technology-based product. A lot of people are worried about that, oh, you started in 2000, well, you're dealing with 1990s technology. That's not really true, because I was shooting a movie up until 2005. Jeff Yap said this. How did he put it? It was like, you know, this is not a dated thing, because it's not about how fast the game engine runs, all the little controls that you can do, all the things that turn up the gore level, those buttons, they're irrelevant here. This is more of a storytelling tool, and it's going to appeal to those people. The gamers that are into Halo and you know, run around, shoot 'em up games, those are cool games, but we've got an audience that's probably a little askew at that. And so these guys, the Halo guys, they're going to buy it in secret and go play it in the closet. They're not going to tell anybody, but they'll like it and they'll say they hate it.
As long as they buy it.
As long as they buy it, give me my money. Yeah.
Is there a place to play a video game other than the closet?
Trace has very large closets. Not that I've seen them.
From the outside.
Never knock.